What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite minority from the loud majority, touching base with the bass. It's me, Louis Angel Lopez. Call me Louis, call me Angel, call me whatever you like. Back with another reaction video. Okay, I'm gonna be doing a lot of reaction videos. By the way, I hope you guys had a happy Easter, and nothing else day, because if you heard the news over the weekend, then you know what Joe Biden decided to do. Um, just before Easter. And the Trans Visibility Day he announced as the new holiday that will be officially recognized also on Easter Sunday, on Easter Day. Um, well, I'm pretty sure it won't be every year, but he definitely made it a big deal about it being on Easter Sunday this year, and that obviously outraged a lot of people. But anyway, I hope you had a happy Easter. Um, so I just want to talk about how more and more every day you're seeing a lot of these these anti-Trumpers, these like really, really super duper anti-Trumpers. They're starting to come out and not and they're not coming out and fully say, like full blown saying, "Oh, I'm voting for Trump for sure, definitely." But you can see that they're highly considering it. And these are people who were very critical, still very critical of Trump to this day. Personally, they don't like him or what they think he stands for. Um, but they believe that he did do a better job and that we would be better off if he was the president today instead of Joe Biden. And they've made it clear. Now, one person who's been very, very critical of Trump, but very, very skeptical lately about all these attacks against Trump, all these, these phony charges and all these different cases and civil suits that they're trying to bring to Trump to try and slow him down pretty much and try to cut him off at the knees where he's pretty much helpless and can't really run a campaign properly. It's not working, by the way. Eh, which is pretty evident. I mean, you only need two eyes to realize that everything they're doing is not working. But one person that has been making the news a lot about his opinions on Trump and Trumpism and MAGA is Stephen A. Smith. Okay, he's been on um his own podcast, and he's been speaking about this. Now, he was recently on the Patrick Bet David podcast, okay, the PBD podcast. I didn't get to watch the entire podcast. I didn't even get to watch this clip yet that I'm about to react to. I like to do actual reactions. I don't want to do a phony reaction. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be the actual first time that I've seen the clip. I don't want to watch it in secret and then come on here and pretend like, like I'm seeing these things for the first time and then reacting to them. No. So I actually don't watch it until I, you know, record this reaction video. So this is going to be the first time I'm seeing it and I'm going to react to it. But I've heard, I've seen a few like short clips about it and, I kind of got the premise. So I kind of wanted to watch this particular segment where Stephen A is talking about Trump and what he feels, how he feels about MAGA and Trump and if he's considering voting for Trump and all that. So let's go into it. I'm gonna pull this up. Just give me one moment because I gotta do my little screen share thing, a jig. One moment. All right, where we at? All right, here we go. Look at that. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, wait, hold up. Stop sharing because I didn't do it right. See? See? This is why I gotta stop getting ahead of myself. I gotta stop getting ahead of myself. One moment. Here we go. Oh, wait, did it wrong again. Look at this. Bear with me, guys. I'm all over the place today. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today. There we go. Did that work? Did I do it? I think I did. Now, one more thing we got to do. One more thing we got to do, because I just figured out how to do this. Ooh, that's going to make things nice. All righty, let's go. So once again, this is Stephen A. Smith on the Patrick Bet David podcast. And, like I said, he's speaking about Trump and how he feels about Trumpism and MAGA. And, so let's get into it. Make sure my volume's up. Yeah, turn it all the way up.
Going back to your mom, and when you're talking about on the conservative side, do your recent positioning with Trump has gotten a lot of people a little bit asking questions.
Sure.
Okay. So hey, the Democrats, what you're doing, trying to undermine everything this man's doing, it's not working. You're kind of going through the whole process, and you kind of Biden, all this stuff. What do you think? The strategy that they're doing right now. Do you think they don't know that it's not working, or do you think they're convinced it's going to?
Oh, they know.
Come November 5th, with the day we vote.
I think they're convinced it's going to work, and I think that they're leaning on the 2022 midterms to buffer their point.
That's a good.
Had certain Democrats who were supporting.
Good point.
Trump surrogates. I'm sorry, they were supporting these folks and favoring Trump surrogates during the 2022 midterms, and people were anticipating a red wave that never arrived.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's what they're thinking about. The more we put Trump out there, the more we buffer support and augment support for these folks who support him, ultimately it will lead to our victory. That's how they're thinking. And I'm saying, no, not what I'm seeing. I think that he has damn near a cult following. I'm not calling folks cults or anything like that. I'm just speaking.
Well, that would be kind of strange to call MAGA a cult. Listen, I hear that so much. You gotta understand just how much I hear that. That phrase, that term, oh, MAGA cults, or you MAGA people are cultists. I'm like, really? In a cult, they get you to believe some of the most asinine things, some of the most outrageous things. Like some of these cults, and these cult leaders, they might convince men that they need to let their wives sleep with the cult leader. And a lot of these men fall for it, and they believe it. So you get what I'm saying when they are saying they believe like some pretty outrageous things, like men can be women, like children don't really have any innocence. Innocence is not a real thing, and that we're all just sexual beings, even when we're children. These are things that the left believes. Okay? These are the things that they believe. So if we're going to call anybody cultist, I think we need to take a deep, deep look at which sides believe what. Okay? Because the Trump side, they simply believe that this man is better at the job than Joe Biden, and that he was, on paper, he is way better at the job than Joe Biden, and that's not a lie. So the whole cult thing, take a deeper look into the other side before you call anybody calls MAGA supporters or Trump supporters cultists.
In terms of their love, their devotion, their belief in him, and they're not going anywhere. And then you got Hispanics who are supporting him now, according to the polls. You've got more Black folks who are supporting him now, according to the polls. And even though they're swearing that the overturning of Roe v. Wade, along with some of the charges that have been executed against them, that's going to turn off white women. Well, we ain't seeing that evidence. Yeah. And so I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Are y'all not paying attention? Because let me tell you something. Charlemagne the God said it best when he said, Joe Biden is not inspiring at all.
He isn't.
You almost get the impression
speaks like he doesn't even
that the Democrats who are pushing for Joe Biden to get 4 more years, because that's what they were chanting at the State of the Union, just 4 more years, 4 more years. The man's gonna be 82 in November, and you chant for 4 more years. But you've got progressive leftists on this side chanting for 4 more years. I don't know if they know how embarrassing that is. Okay.
That's another great point. I mean, now when they bring up the age thing and they say, well, Trump isn't that far off. And I'm saying, you know what? Okay, that's fair. He's not. In age, he's not that far off number-wise. But in mental capability, He is light years better, light years ahead. Okay. I'm 34. I'm sure there's a 34-year-old somewhere in the world right now whose mental capability is not as great as mine. Just like I'm sure my mental capability is not as great as some 34-year-old out, some other 34-year-old out there in the world. So sure, we can look at the numbers, but I mean, what we really need to do is look at mental capability. And I mean, Joe Biden has pretty much, he's pretty much shown the world that he has very little cognitive ability left in that skull of his. Okay. It's it's not really there anymore. And in and you think that in 4 more years, right? That this man, when he leaves the White House, if he was to get another 4 years, do you imagine the disaster that this man would leave, or the shambles he would leave America in if he was given another 4 years to run this country? With the cognitive decline that we are witnessing every single day. Imagine watching another 4 years of this man wander around on the stage, not know which way to go, not know where the steps are, mistake people that are alive, mistake people that are dead for being alive. Imagine another 4 years. It's just going to get worse. Just going to get worse. And in the political climate in the world right now, with all the, with these wars and these terror attacks, these bridges not getting knocked down due to our infrastructure you know being shown to be very vulnerable. We need stronger leadership than that. We don't need a man that literally can't string a sentence together. He forgets what he's talking about in the middle of his sentences and changes the subject.
Okay, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that when you're doing that, I'm looking at them and I'm saying to myself, come on now, this is utterly ridiculous. You think this is going to get it done. But I tell you what I'm starting to suspect. They don't know if Joe's going to last 4 more years. And all they care about is that he gets to election day and the inauguration. And then after that, who's the next line?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris. And I think that's how folks are thinking. But my problem with it is, again, we're capitalists. We like competition. What happened to compete with him and win him? What's all the lawfare about? One charge after another. You got Letitia James and the New York Attorney General in New York. You got the folks in Georgia with Fannie Willis and others. You got Mar-a-Lago situation. You got we're really, really, really going to have a trial about hush money to a former porn star. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, don't get me wrong.
And that's another great point, because remember not that long ago, what were they doing on CNN and on news? Oh, he's going down for Russia collusion. He's a spy. He's a Russian spy. We've gone from he's a Russian spy, like some movie shit, like a Russian spy, like what? We've gone from that being proven completely false, and turned out that Hillary Clinton was behind that whole lie. She paid for the dossier and paid for the false information. Basically paid for this whole false report to be put together to try to frame him as a Russian spy. It was all done by people in her campaign. One of the men in her campaign actually went to jail for it. But they don't talk about that. So we've gone from he's a Russian spy. He's a Russian spy to, okay, well, he paid a porn star to be quiet after they had sex. Oh my God, how far they've fallen. How far they've fallen. It reeks of desperation. Like, what is he actually guilty of? You guys can't prove anything. And it seems like every case falls apart because you keep putting these corrupt people, like district attorneys and attorney generals and judges, in charge or in place, for these trials and these investigations. And then all their history gets exposed, and you immediately lose the trust of the public. Immediately. because now we can all expose the lies in real time. Now we can all look deeper into all these people involved in all these indictments and these court cases and these investigations and find out if they have any skeletons in their closet, if they're as on the up and up as they claim to be. And every single time we look, it turns out that they're not, that they're actually up to something. They're actually up to things that are way worse than what they're accusing him of, which most of the things they're accusing him of aren't even actually crimes. I mean, at the end of the day, there are people who go to court and win because what they did was not a crime, or because they did not commit a crime, the crime that they're trying to say he committed. It happens every single day. People beat their court cases every single day because it turns out they weren't guilty of a crime the entire time. So people can't just assume, oh, well, they've charged him, he's definitely guilty. No, there are people who are charged with a crime every single day, go to court, and then prove that they are innocent. It happens all the time. Watch an episode of Law and Order.
Advocating that anybody should be above the law at any time. What I am saying is, he's the president of the United States, the former president of the United States. You talk to us about Russian collusion. You talk to us about a bevy of things over the years. Man still running. I mean, four indictments, 91 counts, and the man gets more campaign.
4 indictments, 91 counts. 91 is basically just the same charge over and over and over and over and over.
He's still even been put behind bars.
Nope.
And he's the presumptive GOP nominee. You can't stop him. You cannot stop him. And so for me, I find myself ashamed of the Democratic Party for their lack of a competitive fervor. You had since 2016 to come up with somebody else, and you still can't do it. That is pathetic.
Of course
It is pathetic. And it is no excuse for it whatsoever. It is 2024. In 8 years, you should have been able to find somebody that can compete with this man other than a soon-to-be 82-year-old incumbent.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
Do you want Democrats to win?
That's a tough question.
That's the
See, and this is where this guy
That's
loses me, bro. This is where he loses me every single time because it really makes no sense. You are quite literally pointing out all their flaws and just pointing out just how hypocritical and what's the word I'm looking for? It's at the tip of my tongue. I can't get it out. How hypocritical and irrational that these people are, to the point where they're willing to burn it all down just to win. They're willing to rule over the ashes of nothing. If they can rule over the kingdom of ashes, they would. Because and he knows this, and yet he still votes for them. He's vote blue no matter who. And yet they claim that the right is part of a cult or brainwashed or whatever the case may be, but you vote blue no matter who. Basically what you're saying is that what if Hitler ran as a Democrat, you'd vote for him, vote blue no matter who. Like Stephen A really pisses me off because he does all of this. He does all of this. He breaks it down so very well that it's almost impossible. Like, how do you yourself still not realize, when you know all these facts, why is it not sinking in that you can't vote for these people? Even if you don't vote for Trump, why you can't vote for these people? You cannot vote for them.
I have to confess what most folks who sit before guys like yourself don't. It's hard to figure out. Like, for example, supposedly we got a good economy. Unemployment is relatively decent, around 4%.
This is what people on Instagram tell me all the time. They tell me, shut up, the economy is great. Just shut up and enjoy the economy. Okay.
Right? It's like inflation. And he's driving in California, paying on the leg of gas. You go to the supermarket, buy some milk, buy some bread, whatever, because see, contrary to what folks believe, I actually go to the supermarket. All of this other stuff. I'm like, you're watching this. And it's like, just telling the truth. Do we have a good economy or not? Is it
Come on, obviously not, man.
Do you, is inflation a real thing? Is it imaginary?
Imaginary.
You
Tell it to the
look at
people
all
at the
these
grocery
things.
store who don't have the money to afford the things that they.
Should we support? Should we?
Is it imaginary? The amount of people that jump into my inbox, not my inbox, I'm sorry, my comments, and like tell me that the economy is doing great, or how many times I'm scrolling and I come across people on Facebook arguing about how, oh, the economy is great. Trump ruined the. I'm like, bro, tell that to the single mom who's in the grocery store and can't afford the things she used to be able to afford. Tell her that. I want you to look her in her face and tell her, shut up, the economy is fine. Stop crying. Oh my God, these people will lie. But once again, the Republicans or the Trump supporters, they're the ones in the cult, not these people.
We give them more money than we've already given them. You're looking at the, Israeli, Hamas conflict. I call it the Israeli Hamas conflict as opposed to the Israeli Palestinian conflict, but I don't touch that because I don't know enough. And that's not my lane. But I also find myself, okay, well, we've got folks here saying, stop this, stop the bombing, stop all of this. And then you have other folks like, hell with that. Hamas has to be eliminated because look at what they've done October 7th and the kidnapping and 130. You're hearing all of this. And you read the different publications. I'll read the Washington Post one minute, I'll read the New York Times the next, I'll read Wall Street Journal the next. I'm watching the channels, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, I'm going back and forth. And literally, we've changed as a society. We can take the same information and put a completely different twist on it to make it look like who's right, who's wrong.
That's a good point.
As knowledgeable as you guys have proven to be, with no more than me at this moment in time. I'm studying more and more and more of it every day because I'm fixated on it, just like I am with sports. But I'm saying
that's how I learned. So I started.
Definitively true. That's undeniable. I can tell you how I feel. My problem is that I literally could be sitting in front of one person on the left with the same exact information that I'm sitting in front of somebody 15 minutes later with on the right. And they have two completely different versions.
Correct. This has become all too normal. That's become all too normal. And this is exactly why the world is the way it is right now, because it's no longer about the facts. It's about how we interpret the facts. It's become about how we interpret the facts now. Okay. Like, we should stop illegal immigration. We should stop it. That's a fact. Okay. But according to one side, it's racist to say that. According to the other side, it's dangerous to keep allowing it. And it has nothing to do with about the skin color or a particular race. It's about the fact that there are people we have who have no loyalty or no no loyalty to America, or that we just don't know who they have loyalty to. They could be loyal to people who are against our ideologies in America coming through our borders. But it's become very, very hard to get people to throw emotions out and just look at the facts. Look at the facts. You have one side that goes based off of facts. Facts. The truth. That's the right, in my opinion. In my opinion. I believe that the right boils things down to fact, down to the very nitty-gritty of it. No matter how harsh it is, no matter how much you don't like how it sounds, no matter how, no matter what the outcome is, the facts are the facts. The left, however, they love to go base everything off of emotion. Everything's based off of emotion. It's not based off of what's true. It's based off of how things make you feel. So if the truth makes them feel bad, they don't want that. If the truth is going to hurt people's feelings, then the truth is not allowed. The facts are not allowed. We have to spin it in a way that it makes them feel better. So he's right about that. There's two different stories, coming from both sides but even though they both have the same thing put in front of them. And I believe that's become all too normal, and it needs to end.
And I think that's why America is so lost. Because folks are confused. They don't have the time when you're out there hustling and bustling and trying to take care of your family, pay mortgages,
that
maintain or elevate your quality of life. You don't have time to study everything that needs to be studied. You've got congressional and Senate figures telling you they signed bills they didn't even read.
Nope. These bills
Literally.
are
I'm seeing them on tape doing this.
these bills sometimes are 2,000 to 3,000 pages. Okay. And a lot of the times these bills get submitted just a few hours before they're set to be voted on. Nobody has time to read these bills all the way through. They just get signed based on what people, what they get signed based on what the bread and butter of the bill is. So if because you got to remember, when these bills are passed, it's not just one thing in the bill. There's a bunch. There's a a lot of things in it. It's not just one particular thing. They're not doing all this just to pass one particular thing. There's a bunch of other things written in these bills. That's why they're 2,000 to 3,000 pages. Okay. So based on what the main premise of the bill is, a lot of these things get voted on. A lot of times they get passed through. A lot of times they don't. But who has time to read a 2,000 to 3,000 page bill a few hours before it's set to be voted on? Nobody.
And so when you have that going on, it's really, really difficult to say, oh, I know this. But if you tell me these are the facts, Stephen, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't give a damn what it is, I can tell you how I feel about it. I can do that.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, and thank you for being straight up with it. That's the one thing about you that why I relate and I like watching you because you're straight up. I'm watching, you'll say, yeah, I'll see you're defending Magic Johnson one time. Like, this guy's my friend. I'm like, okay, he's sometimes easier to Magic than he is to somebody else, do all this stuff. But I love the fact that you're raw and you come out and give your feedback. Here's what it makes me think about when asking about who you want to vote and who do I believe, do I go with the guy on the left or the guy on the right? You ever had a guy in the NBA or sports that we all criticized? Mm-hmm. And the media went after him. So everybody said, what a freaking guy, piece of this and da. 7 years later, dude, that guy was mistreated by everybody. Right? What was that all about, right?
Happens all the time, man. Happens all the time.
I'm on this guy's side.
It really does happen all the time.
The truth is this. Right. So we can look at a couple things with
in every industry.
2024 in a few different ways. What we have right now, Stephen A., that I think is easy to do is two things. Mm-hmm. You actually have, for once, we haven't had this. You got two people we get to vote for that we got 4 years to choose from each. Mm-hmm. It's not a what if. Right. It's not a, well, do you want somebody like Hillary Clinton? Do you want a man like this to have access to the nuclear button? Right. I don't know if I do.
We got a dementia patient that has access to nuclear codes.
What happened? So it's actually very easy systematically to sit there with data and say, they went after this guy. I was convinced he was tied to Russia. Right. $35 million Hillary Clinton. That was a lie. And everybody in the mainstream media was behind it. Everybody. CNN, MSNBC. Mm-hmm. Guys, that's kind of shitty. And then you try to defame character. Then you went after the girls. Then E. Jean Carroll, $83 million. Right. Anderson Cooper asks, did he rape you? Well, I think rape is more of a fantasy. What are you talking about? We got to go to the break, right? Answer the question. 91 different counts. Mar-a-Lago's only worth $18 million. This is not that good. He thinks it's not. And then all of a sudden, CNN shows this week, well, Mar-a-Lago, if he wasn't to do a fire sale, he could sell it for $240 million. Yeah. What happened to the $18 million? Listen, all of these.
That needs to be talked about a whole lot more. It's crazy to me nobody's talking about that. How did the judge rule that the house was worth only 18 million, and then CNN goes on and says he needs to hurry up and sell it for a couple $100 million? So wait a minute. Did CNN just admit that the judge is a liar? Nobody's talking about that. I have a feeling that's going to come back and bite that judge in his ass.
Things are unfair. And then this guy would go sit with anybody in any interview, to any platform, to anybody, CNN, Fox, CBS, ABC, 60 Minutes. It didn't matter. This guy is a gamer, will go anywhere. Right? And you go on the other side. No way. How many times did Obama go sit with Bill O'Reilly? One time. How many times did Hillary Clinton? How many times has Biden been on Fox? How many times? How many times has Biden? How many times have you interviewed Hillary, Bill Clinton, Obama, or Joe Biden? Yourself?
Never.
How's that possible? Well, you've interviewed McCain or something. So to me, when I watch some of this stuff, and you're on their side, like for the most part during that time, at that time. So
Not now.
but
Go ahead.
but then when you bring it today and you see what's going on, and the confusing part for me is like my mom's side, all Democrats. They were communists. My dad said they were imperialists. So there was a debate between the two where it said rich people are greedy and poor people are lazy. So I had to kind of figure it out on my own to see where the reality was. Today, 4 years versus 4 years, we got 3 Afghanistan screw up. Ukraine and Russia. Looks like we're gonna have to give these guys another Afghanistan of $2 trillion of taxpayers' money that we keep sending money out. Great. Right. Israel, Hamas. Okay, all right. Whether we know everything about the history of it or not, how come this didn't happen 4 years ago? How come there was nothing going on 4 years ago? So when you look at it that way, what is happening a lot that I talk to guys who are celebrities, influencers, Hollywood, TV, somebody that you watch. There's a couple different camps. There's the one camp that is like, look, man, I'm still gonna vote left. There's the other camp that says, dude, I'm not gonna tell you who I'm voting for, which is kind of like the middle. Like if you had that one interview with Denzel, who did you vote for? It's none of your business. Right. I don't know if you remember that interview.
I think I know who he voted for. I think I know who Denzel voted for, though. That's all I'm saying. Denzel ain't gonna say it out loud, but I think we know who you voted for, Denzel.
Nor would.
But here's the feeling I'm getting with you, bro. The feeling I'm getting with you, which is why I'm kind of like enamored with like the journey you're going through. I'm just kind of following it.
Right.
Give him a few more months.
You gotta fight. And I think
give Stephen a few more months.
Left certain values of pride and dad, and it's like, hey, dude, you got a job to protect this country that gave you this life, and I feel like there is something going on with you that's kind of like, you want to talk, but it's kind of like, am I really going to say this? Can I really say this?
It's not that. It's not. It's just that I want to be as sure as you are. That's what I'm saying. I
can't argue with that.
I owe it to the people to make sure that if I'm going to come out with fire and brimstone, I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Got it.
And sometimes when it comes to these issues, I don't. So I'm being honest.
Bro, what would happen if you came out and you said, let's just say in the month of October, Stephen A. came out. Let's be real.
Sure.
You came out on your podcast, obviously not at the network, but on your podcast, you said, guys, I'm going to say something right now. You guys are going to be very upset at me. What happened if you in the month of October said I'm voting for Trump? What would happen?
I'd be called a sellout and a coon by my own community.
Come on.
That's exactly what they would say.
I'm on year 4 of that.
To know something about me, I wouldn't give a damn.
I don't give a damn.
I'm not scared. I'll say what I feel. Let me tell you.
In fact, I started a podcast.
The point that you
show my face more.
My belief is I'm going to vote for Biden. Now, you have to remember, it's God. You're looking at the presidential election might be.
I want to Stephen A. I'm just kidding, Stephen A. It was a joke. It's a joke.
President
just joking, YouTube.
In every other position.
I want to give Stephen A. noogie.
Every senator, every congressional figure, every local. In other words, because I view the presidency. I understand it's the commander in chief. I get it. But I view, and listen, I will preface it by saying I'm open to correction. I truly am. I view the presidency as more of a statesmanship position. I would, if I interviewed Trump, I would look him in his face and tell him why. I would never, I'm not calling you racist. I'm not saying that all of your policies were wrong. Hell, the economy was thriving before COVID. I remember. But you don't know how to act. You just, I said, you don't care what you say. You don't care about how divisive you come across. You don't have any sensitivity whatsoever to how you scare the living hell out of people with your rhetoric and with your
Stephen A. I agree with him so much, and then he says something that just, you know what it is, man? We just so used to the sweet lies, man. That's what it is. As people, we just got so used to the sweet, sweet lie. The sweet, sweet lie that they would get on TV and tell us. Those sweet, sweet lies they would tell us. Okay? Obama was one of the smoothest talking presidents. That man lied like a motherfucker. Okay? And he did it so elegantly. He did it so our smooth talking. Yeah, he was lying most of the time. He was selling us fucking dreams. And he knew all he had to do was be soft-spoken and charming. And we would eat that shit up. Like many black people did to this day. I'd be like, what did Obama do for you? Oh, well, you know, he was the first black president. And I said, okay, but was he good at his job? Because I don't think he was good at his job. Okay, that was his accomplishment. First black president. Congratulations. That doesn't make him good at his job.
Aloof, I don't know if the word is aloofness or just a disregard for the importance of unity. I believe you believe in America. I believe in America. Let me tell you what I believe in about America. I believe that when we're together, nothing can stop us. Nothing. I don't care if it's a bad president.
I believe I
I
can
don't
fly.
care if it's bad people on Capitol Hill. I don't care if corporate America is garbage. I don't care if Wall Street's messing up. We will overcome anything when we're together. And I remember how I felt this way. And this is the only time, I'm 56 years old. This is the only time in my life I ever felt this way. 9/11 happens. And that first plane goes into the first tower. And I'm laying in my bed. I'm in an apartment in South Jersey at the time, Voorhees, New Jersey. I'm laying in my bed and I'm on the phone with one of my friends. And I'm like, see, this damn probably drunk. You know, I mean, who the hell knows? That's why I worry about flying. And that's why I literally was reacting that way. And then the channel was on CNN. And I saw that second plane coming around. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. And we saw that plane come around and it hit that second tower. And the first words out of my mouth, excuse my language, is, holy shit, we are under attack. And at that moment, it wasn't black, it wasn't white, it wasn't Latino. The United States of America is under attack. You are after us. I didn't see anybody that was an American citizen and thought about, I didn't think about race, I didn't think about the divisiveness, I didn't think about hostility, I didn't think about anything. We are under attack. I'm 56 years old. It's the only time I've ever felt like that in my life. In this country. It's the only time.
Isn't that sad though, Stephen, that it has to take terrorists flying airplanes into buildings, killing thousands of Americans, ready for us to go, I don't care that you're black, I don't care. That is the saddest thing to hear.
That's right.
And then Steve, going back, if you don't mind, Patrick, I'm going to the fact that Trump's divisiveness. Let me ask you, Stephen. You're going for president. You're going to go run for president. As you come in, you don't even think you're going to win. You find out, Stephen, that the president before you was spying on you and your campaign. Think about this. Spying on your campaign. Then the chick that you're running against paid all these millions to have this fake Russian thing. So, by the way, your anger's building. I'm getting there. Then the two impeachments. Then this 2020 FBI's at Twitter blocking all the stories from Hunter and everything. How would your
breaking point, brother?
How would your attitude going to be? Are you going to be like this guy?
My attitude is going to be,
bro, Stephen A., please.
I'm going to be furious. I'm going to be all of those things.
Yeah. Anybody would.
And I signed up to be a president to all the people, not to come across as somebody who's only loyal to my constituency who put me in that office. Because you do have that with some politicians.
You should tell that to Joe Biden.
Got them, and I understand when you campaign. Please don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get in office, trying to maintain power. I get that part.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, once you're there, you got an obligation to be bigger than that. And when you find yourself,
Joe Biden, this is Joe Biden now. And y'all voted him in. So
Jacksonville, and he was like, Trump.
You can't tell people, oh, well, you don't get to do what we did.
You know, and I'm like, you just find yourself, it's like there comes a point in time where you elevate to a certain level in life where the pettiness has to go out the window because you got to remember.
I don't see it as petty at all. I see it as retribution. Get retribution.
You can't scare the living hell out of people because that causes chaos too. And what it does is it distracts us from the very good that you might be doing because we're caught up in all the noise you've created. And then listen, I firmly believe, and I've said this publicly,
The left created the noise. CNN created the noise. MSNBC created the noise. ABC created the noise. This man can literally say the simplest thing and they will twist it into something else and scare the living shit out of people like Stephen A. And then he'll get on a podcast and say, you need to calm down and watch what you're saying. But then if you go back and listen to what he said himself, it's never anything even that crazy. It's like you're constantly falling for the mainstream media twisting words. Like before, when remember the bloodbath video I made. Stephen A. even made a video about it. That should he should already know. Like you're falling for what the mainstream media is trying to make you believe when he speaks, instead of just listening to the man himself and understanding what he's trying to say. And Stephen A. Smith already just did a video recently about it, about the bloodbath situation, where the media took Trump's words and turned it into a whole different meaning. Stephen.
It's 81 people voted for Joe Biden. I don't believe that for a second.
Oh shit. Did Stephen A. just say that he believes the election was stolen? Did he just say that? I think Stephen A. just said that he thinks the election was stolen. He just said he doesn't believe that 81 million people voted for Joe Biden.
81+ million people voted against Donald Trump. They didn't want him. They couldn't take it anymore because he was so unfair.
Oh, okay. He's saying basically they didn't vote for Joe Biden. They just voted against Trump. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's why 81 million people are now most likely struggling.
And that's the difference.
But we all know. We all know that that's not a real number. Anyway, let me stop because YouTube will ban me if I keep talking about that.
Big boy, big rules. A lot of people might feel differently.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
No, I respect that. And I think a part of why would 81 million people feel that way? Let's go through what is the easiest emotion to manipulate people with.
Fear.
What is the easiest emotion? It's very simple. Fear sharpens listening.
Yep.
If you can sell an entire congregation, you ever gone to a pastor who gets up and he says,
fear is what they will sell you, and you will buy it.
Here's what hell looks like. Oh my God, I'm getting baptized right now, right? So they sold Trump as the second coming of the guy from Germany. And
Yeah, Hitler.
Many Americans who don't read, who don't follow politics, who live a simple life, these guys are trying to pay their bills. They're trying to watch a game on Sunday, maybe having a barbecue. You're trying to do basically. They don't have time to go read all the stuff that's going on.
Let me just say, in 2015, 2016, I was anti-Trump. I was against Trump. I was calling Trump the Antichrist. I was saying, oh, wow, we have the Antichrist in the White House. The world's coming to an end. Just like just like it's been predicted in every movie, every book. I'm like, it's over. The Antichrist is in the White House. We're all gonna die. I truly believe that shit. Yo, CNN. Yo, I remember I used to watch CNN, yo. I used to sit and watch that shit. Oh.
And they're like, you know what? I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. The part that I give the left a lot of credit to is the following. When COVID happened and everybody knew it came from China, U.S. could have done what they did during 9/11 and been united against China, but the Democrats became united against Trump. And they did such a phenomenal job putting all the blame on him, everything. And by the way, check this out.
Okay.
You said vaccine played a big role in your life, right? I think in 2022 or 2021, you said if it wasn't for vaccine, I wouldn't been here.
That's
and all
what
this
they
stuff.
told me. That's what the doctor told me. Yeah,
Fantastic. And so, do you know when the vaccine was ready? Do you know when the vaccine was announced?
I think it was while Trump was there.
No, it was 2 days after election. Yeah, weird. Exactly. But guess who got it done?
He did.
Trump got it done. But they announced it only 2 days after election. Because imagine if they would announce it 2 days pre-election.
Right.
Fastest
He
ever
would got
to
credit for it.
he would have gone crazy. Imagine if the New York Post story would have stayed.
Mhm.
50 intelligence officers came out.
Now, I'm not particularly intrigued about that whole vaccine situation. Okay. I'm not. But that's a topic for another episode.
Signing saying there's nothing in the laptop, and then later on we found out there was plenty of things on
That's
the
fair,
laptop.
but you're bringing up what you're talking about when you're talking about COVID, for example. That wasn't what was scaring a bunch of people. It was the riots in the streets. It was the mayhem. It was the fact that they went, the left, as you pointed out, went about the business
Great
of
strategy.
demonizing
Deceptive.
and demonizing Trump.
Yeah.
And to get to your point, you have a responsibility to be big enough to see that coming and to be more adroit in your approach towards resolving issues and making sure you highlight who you are. CNN
Yeah, that's an opinion.
was one of the ringleaders, one would
It's not a
say,
fact.
when it came to their positions against Trump. Last time I checked, they weren't number one. That was Fox.
Yeah, but that's
But
not.
I said,
No, wait. To give you the example of basketball.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't know how many points did Dominic Wilkins average in a season when he was killing it? 35 points a game. So I think he had a 37-point season.
Ridiculous.
What did they do?
They lost.
They
didn't
lost.
win. Right.
And then when the
Because he didn't have a team.
when the Pistons won, who was averaging the most points on that?
Nobody. Well,
19 points a game, Prince, or was it who? Maybe Chauncey Billups, 21 points.
Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, but they didn't have the Rip Hamilton's post, but it was like a 19, 18, 20, 21 point game. They didn't have a 32. They didn't have a 28. They didn't have a 20. The point is this: take a 21, CNN. Take a 17, MSNBC. Take a 16, CBS. Take any of that. All of that beats 40 points a game. That's Fox News.
Okay.
So the collective effort of everybody combined, Fox is nothing.
Okay, you can say
compared to
that, but here's what I can do. Here's what my retort would be. You have any idea the size of Mark Levin's audience? You have any idea about the size of Sean Hannity's audience?
Not close.
I mean, audience. I mean, I'm just saying. You turn around. And I understand. We talk about the quote unquote liberal society that we live in. I can't tell you how many people in my business I know for a fact ain't liberal. They can talk that nonsense all they want to. But when you see that, how they conduct themselves, when you see them in the audience, when you go over to, they don't have those views. They don't have those views. I think that
most people don't have the same views as these liberals and these progressives today. Okay. I'm sorry, but I can't tell you one man that I know in my life that is okay with trans men being able to go into women's bathrooms. I've not met a man in real life that is okay with that. They only seem to be in my comments on Instagram.
Trump lost the election more than the conservatives did. I think he alienated people because of his.
Maybe.
I know. First of all, I know a lot of Republicans. Okay, and I know of Republicans who were flat out exhausted because he didn't know how to act. Now, listen. You're a very successful businessman, and I'm saying to you, it's perfectly understandable why you would feel different because, again, the world that you live in, you have to know more than most, and because you know more than most, the actual substance of his policies, how it works for our society compared to the left and stuff like that, you'll choose that. It's perfectly understandable.
Perfect example he's making of one side bases things off the facts. The other side doesn't have time to even look up the facts. They do. They have the time. They just don't. They occupy their time with more useless things. And they just go based off of emotion, off of what the news is, the news is telling them, which the news, his job is to scare you. Their job is to sell you fear. They're in the business of entertainment, and their entertainment is fear. Okay? That's the thing that they're selling you, it's fear. That's what you're buying when you're watching the news. Okay, it's to scare the shit out of you. So, yeah.
But I'm saying to you, here's what you would know, and this is what you're not.
That's fair.
This is what I think you need to give yourself credit for. There's no way on earth you're this successful if you don't have an idea of what your audience wants and what to give them. Trump knew it and did it in 2016. He played the game. Hillary should have gone to Wisconsin. She should have gone to Pennsylvania. She should have gone a couple of places to campaign in the last few days. I don't want to hear about the FBI director ruining it for her. I'm quite sure it had something to do with it. But the point is, you got to go out there and campaign. Trump was everywhere. He was everywhere. Yeah. He knew. And then in 2020, he thought, hey, I'm the man. Yeah, I'm going to go out there and campaign and stuff like that. But I do what the hell I want to do because these damn people are getting on my nerves. And it cost him because he lost his way. And he forgot about governing the whole as opposed to just the people.
But guess what?
No, they still.
So
I'm gonna be quiet.
Said at 41, 42.
I ain't trying to get banned on YouTube. I got to be quiet.
What was your answer?
81. All I'm gonna say is 81 million people didn't vote for Joe Biden. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
So this is the first time he's been a president. He's delivered an incredible economy to the country. Why are they turning against me?
Well, it's the first time he was president, but it wasn't the first time he campaigned. He campaigned in 2016. So winning in 2016, this is 4 years later.
I know, but from the perspective, I wrote a couple things down here. So in running an insurance company, you know, I've been in it for 20 some years. You know what it taught me a lot? It taught me a lot about human nature.
Yeah.
And you know, you're like, I've never ran a company this size. Every year, I didn't run a company that size. So every year, I'm like, I've never run a company this size. I've never run a shit. I'm dealing with all these different states, 49 states, a few hundred offices, 30,000 agents. So I'm comfortable with 20 agents, 50 agents, 100 agents. So every time you go into a new place, like it's a new level, right? How do you handle? Okay. And I learned one thing very quickly. The guys that were complaining and bitching and were the loudest, were able to convert more people into their way of thinking than the quiet guys that went and just got the job done. Okay. So if we have to choose between the left and the right, which ones are more professional complainers? It's the left. Complainers. I don't think the right has anybody that is as good as in complaining as AOC is. I don't think the right has anybody that's as good as complaining as, you know, Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth,
I don't know about that one.
Professional. I can go on and on and on. Like all these rich people and these capitalists, and I'll look up and say, should anybody be worth this kind of money? You know, or look at this guy. You should Walmart, Amazon. You guys should be paying $15 an hour minimum wage. How should these billionaires not pay $15 an hour? Hey, bro, you Bernie Sanders, you don't pay your employees $15 an hour. Oh, well, you know, we're going to make that adjustment. Oh, so you're a hypocrite. You want, okay.
Yeah, they're all hypocrites, man. Come on.
Billionaires, millionaires and billionaires. Then you become a millionaire. Now,
Do as I say, not as I do.
When you watch all of that and you're going through it himself, credit to the left for making him and painting him out to be the enemy that he became. But by the
I
way,
can no longer remain in today.
That was a good conversation about Trump. I'll give him that. Yeah. Stephen A. is still gonna vote for Joe Biden, though. But hey, if he's gonna keep waking people up, whatever. Keep waking people up. He has a platform that I'm sure he has a lot of liberals and progressives that come and watch his stuff. So hey, if he wants to keep feeding them the facts and the truth about Donald Trump, he could possibly be changing minds. So what he does is in the voting booth, his business, which I don't know. Yeah, he says he's gonna still vote for Democrats, but I don't know. Just maybe Stephen A. is behind that voting booth and he's voting for the other guy. It's not like we know who he's actually voting for. But the fact is, man, more and more people are starting to see it. You can't, like I said before, there's people jumping in my comments like, "Oh, the economy's great. You guys just don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, I don't know what world you live in, buddy. Well, when I'm going to the store paying more for everything, the economy is not better than it was 4 years ago. I'm sorry. Like, you can try to spin it any way you want. It's not going to work. The same way Stephen A. was just saying, oh, you know, it's your job to know all the facts about everything. Okay. So imagine trying to explain, according to the left, the economy is great, right? Okay. So imagine you trying to explain that to a single parent who's in the grocery store and can't afford to buy the things they used to be able to. You have to understand, I get you can't afford things you used to, but you gotta understand the economy's better. It's better. That's why you can't afford these things anymore. And she's like, what? I'm paying more for things. So how's the economy better? Who is it better for? It ain't better for me. Is it better for you? Anyway, man, make sure you guys do me a huge favor. Okay, make sure you guys are patting that subscribe button, patting that like button. Make sure you guys are sharing the videos with everybody you know. Even people who don't particularly lean this way, you should send it to them anyway. Even if you just want to do it to piss them off, or if you want to do it to see if maybe they'll take the leap of faith and watch and learn something, you know. So make sure you guys do me that favor. You subscribe, like, subscribe, like, subscribe, like. And of course, comment. I love to hear from you guys. I love it when you guys drop comments. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like you guys are actually watching and partaking in the conversation with me. That gives me motivation to keep making more videos. So please, guys, make sure you do that as well. Make sure you guys comment, guys and gals. That's the first time I said that. I usually just say guys. I'm trying to. But once again, pat that like button, pat that subscribe button. It's me, your favorite minority from the loud majority, Luis Angel Lopez. You can call me Luis. You can call me Angel. You can call me whatever you like. Make sure you guys have a good night. All right. See you next time. Take care.